everyone. Two Botak
Hello,
are here again.
hello
You don't
everyone.
interrupt me. I say first. I
Hey,
say first. I like
okay, okay,
because
okay. You,
okay.
you start
You
again. You start again.
okay? Hello everyone. Two Botaks are here again, and today what is our topic, Zach?
We'll be talking about community, which is online and offline community. So recently, I've noticed that we, as a generation of social media users, we have been starting to shift from a more traditional offline community to a more modern online community. What do I mean by that? Offline community basically it's how we basically interact with our neighbors, the people who live around us, our schoolmates, our colleagues. So those are the offline community, and usually we still do have a group of them right now at the moment. And then what I've noticed recently is that there's also a growth in online community, which uh, which is more obvious when we are looking at the gaming community. So, for example, I work in a gaming industry, so I noticed that most of the gamers users are joining together in this offline community, and usually they help each other out quite nicely. Like sometimes they are trolls, and then sometimes they some people are kind of toxic in a way, but more often than not, we have a group of community users that are actually quite friendly, and people keep helping each other out. And then if you are more active in like 4chan or Reddit, people usually ask a lot of questions there. Yes,
Yeah. Oh, I just raised some. I'm just curious about what like how you interact with your friends. Is it online or is it physical interactions? And which one do you prefer?
you mean me personally?
Yeah, yeah. You personally, as
Uh,
you seems to be quite an active social media user. Are you? I don't know.
I funny thing is that I'm not actually. I don't. I'm an introvert, so I don't interact too much uh, in the physical world, and I also don't interact a lot in the online world as well. So,
Uh,
but I do get involved. I do like look around in like Reddit and like all like Facebook community. I do exist there, but I usually don't interact with them that more often. The same as my physical life, where I don't uh get involved too much in a certain community because I just don't like that kind of interaction.
I'm just curious about. It seems like you are having quite a positive comments on online community when you were mentioning about the game community, right? But
Yeah, yeah.
is it that am I right that you, it seems like you are quite positive about it?
For me, it's very interesting that often and not we think that the internet is a very different world, and then it's very almost like a negative image around it. But a lot of times there's a lot of genuine people online as well, and we sad to say that we neglect them a lot of times. Like there's a lot of good things happen in the online world, like how actually a lot of smart people in Reddit help to solve crimes and help to locate something that is very difficult to locate.
Yeah,
Example,
I'm sure there's the online community certainly gives quite lots of benefits in within the community, but I'm just thinking that in terms of having this really genuine feelings between human relationships, right? Do you think online community will be able to sort of transfer that genuine feelings, or or give you a head start, to have a better physical relationships?
yeah. For example, there's a research in the MIT review where they actually like measure how people date online. The different ways of people dating online. And from the chart here, we can see that uh, starting from the 19th century, the 2000s, where the internet started to gain popularity, it started to skyrocket to like almost everyone is dating. They meet their date online. And
As
like,
I'm very skeptical about whether I know it's very hard, to actually trying to speculate how people interact with each other. But I know I'm personally I'm very skeptical about online dating, and I don't think this is just really it's probably my bias and prejudice as a kid, who grew up in the 90s, who born and raised, in the 90s, is that I'm very skeptical about how the younger generation form relationships with each other. So
yeah,
I just don't feel like they know how to interact with human beings, sometimes. So eventually, we know that the number of people who get depressed, right, has been increasing quite a lot, and I think mainly, right, is because um this is the disadvantage of having social media platforms is that people it's not having the opportunity to explore human relationships through physical interactions now. So I mean, of course, I know if you look back to the MIT data, right, you will have this increasing number of people who met online. But
I think
I always feel I don't know. I just feel a bit negative about you know that
yeah,
thing.
like what? Okay, what's your take on community, and then like even on the dating realm, like what's your take on it on the human interaction stuff?
I think I wouldn't say all. I think it really depends on your character. But um, I think especially if you are living in a city, right, where you have different things, like you have your career, you have lots of desire. I think in this case, right, in these circumstances, it tends to make human beings less honest, less open about their feelings. So I would say I'm not saying everyone, but there is a tendency of of being less honest in a relationship, I think.
But I would argue differently on this because like yeah, you say like people interact less honestly, but I think that there'll always be liars and always there'll always be like a group of people who take advantage of other people. For example, in a workplace, you always find some group, some certain type of people that always take advantage of other
Do you
people.
think?
And even though it's like a physical thing, where you always see them in the office, but yet they are basically every day lying about everything, and then it's
Are you
almost like
sure?
an addiction. Yeah, it's sure.
Is
Like
it?
everyone have that kind of coworker
It
who
sounds
always
so
does that.
sad.
Yes, but I think it's just part of human nature. I think
Oh,
there'll
that's
always
even.
be there'll
It's
always
that's even
someone
more
who
sad.
do. Yeah, I mean like it's the truth, right? Life is difficult, and then you
No,
always meet
it's
this type of people.
okay. I gotta raise my hand. I have this like half. I think I've met people who are like it's like kipas, like people
Uh,
who know how to kipas lah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And um,
Well, what is
but
kipas? You wanna like
kipas it means
explain for everyone?
like I mean, Mandarin like pai ma pi lah. As
Uh,
or like I jerk lah. You know,
yeah.
they like to jerk
Who is
their
like
boss or
like the bullshit, right?
yeah, or people bullshit, but I personally I don't see as I just see it as a, a personality rather
Yeah, yeah.
than I not rather than something bad about human beings. And I there's
Or do you mean like do you mean like when online dating you meet a lot of people who actually actively be like a predator to actually try to cause harm?
No, but for online datings, I don't have much experience. I downloaded, all these online dating apps, but after that, I just deleted it after only one day.
So
I
well,
I know the
why?
people on online dating app, right? They are very, ostensible. That they are really in vain of showing off, you know, whether they are, if you are a woman, they tend to show, you know, um, their, how
Yeah,
big is
private
their
parts.
boob. Their private. It's not really private parts. It's like showing off something that it's quite,
But
the
like,
boobs, and
that's almost basically uh what they are trying to do, what, to just like have sex. So they are like just like using sexual parts to promote
yeah,
the
that's the
sex.
reason. That's the reason I'm thinking. Is it good? Because it seems like the intention of getting on social media, right? For them, it's something else, rather than forming a real relationships. Because I think it's
I
not
think,
about social media or non-social media. I think it's about the intention of using all these platforms. So if you have
yeah.
a bad intentions, right, you will have a bad outcome,
But
and
I think
it's
same goes to physical, like what we are doing
yeah, I
right
think
now.
so.
Like when you go to bar or you go to club, basically people went there to meet people, and then like after clubbing, after going to the bar, they have a one night.
Yeah, I think it's the things, I think older generation people that I've met, right? Uh they keep complaining about this modern social media platform. But if you trace it back to like 50 years ago, right? Actually, it's kind of the same thing. People go to the
Yeah.
same community to find the same type of people, and there's also dating advertisement on newspaper, and there's like
Yeah.
details, asking you that whether you want to join this or not, or also there is some sort of like um
Yeah,
I don't
there's
know
still a lot
what
of like speed dating,
yeah, speed dating events,
this kind of events.
so
Yeah.
I think social media is the same,
I think
some
it
sort
make
of
it
same
more
formulas.
easier. Yeah. It just make everything more easier to
Yeah,
do
and
this,
or
all this kind
or
of stuff.
or make it on a social media platform. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it seems like now when it comes when it seems like it's actually the same thing, whether there's a physical or social media, right? I think the problem is with the intentions.
Yeah. So for
And
for me, my view is basically they are the same thing.
okay,
So like,
there's a
is it doing it online much more worse, or is it like better? I think that's like the main argument that we want to discuss about.
there's only one problem with online social media is whether the big boss is manipulating the algorithm or not. So that I
Mm.
know that's caused the polarizations. Like, as you know, the election in the United States, there's a polarized
Yeah.
situations because of the algorithm. People who supported Donald Trump, they tend to be one side. Because and there's a big gap
Yeah.
in between. So it's
I
it's
got something to talk about the algorithm, which is
yeah,
what I found and what I noticed is that like social media, it's a very addictive thing. They made it especially addictive because the algorithm learns like what do you like, what you're searching for,
uh,
what are you looking for. That
just to
that's
inter
that's the problem
no
that
just to
they are
interrupt
feeding you.
for 1 second. You know what I have written in front of me?
Uh,
There's a paper, and I wrote on top, stop social media, do it only for work. Because I realized that I've been swiping Instagram quite a lot.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
And yeah, yeah, carry on.
people are getting addicted, and then what I found is that it's it's only going to the same direction, and then I'm not quite sure if the algorithm is really that good enough, or maybe the AI or the algorithm thinks that this is what basic human behavior is. Because what I found is that after sometimes scrolling through like Facebook, Instagram, I keep I started to get bored of looking at the same thing like every time, every day. And then I wanted to explore about something else, which it started to become more and more difficult at this time.
Do you think it's get bought, or is it? It feel for me it feels like drugs. You know, it's like
No, but
you it's like you have to take once you get to a stage that the similar portions of drugs right cannot satisfy your need. You need more drugs to
no, but
stimulate yourself.
perhaps I'm at that kind of stage. But in the same way that we are describing it right now, lah, like right now social media is only giving us like a specific set of drugs that they think we like. But at the moment, I might want to try something else, and then it's 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 difficult for me to find the something else that I'm trying to look for because I like for me I like the the olden days social media where they don't really have this strong algorithm where when I look at Facebook, where I scroll Instagram, there's basically everything, a lot of different kind of things, a lot of like different topics. And then right now it's like, oh, it's on when I scroll Facebook and Instagram, they only show the few people's feed that you usually look at or who are always close to you. So like those, so like if your friends, if you didn't text them for like a year or two, then their feed will slowly fade away. Do
Yeah,
you
I
get
can
what I mean?
understand. I
Yeah,
get what you mean because recently I realized that I stopped posting anything on Facebook, and
yeah,
only recently because I wanted people on Facebook follow me on Instagram, so I posted it on Facebook as well, my videos, and I realized that it's a bit hard to get people's attention because I've not been active in on
yeah,
Facebook for quite some time, and
yeah,
it's
yeah.
hard to
And then
get back on the newsfeed
there
again.
there's also like a set of rules which is the algorithm, and then I think like a lot of people fall for it for almost following the same rules like all the time. So like example, if you want to get more views, more interaction on your post, you might need something called SEO, which is
Yeah, I
search
know
engine
that.
optimization. So
Yeah, the
to
stupid things.
you yeah, like
No, I
on your
really,
trend line, on your topic, you need to include all those specific keywords.
I
That's like
really
the
dislike that
rules
things.
that you wanna, yeah,
It has become one of the some sort of like CV requirements now. You know,
yeah, yeah,
especially in Malaysia, there are so many jobs that requires this SEO, SEO, right?
SEO, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the keyword things, and uh, oh, do you have any friends who are much younger than you, like they are after the 2000,
Not much actually.
Okay, the reason
I'm
I'm asking this is that I think social media has a much different effect compared to no like effect on us compared to people who were born after the 2000, and I just think because the year that we were born, we still have other options now. Now
yeah,
we are all grown up. We have other options to escape from social media, and we know how to escape from social media. So we are
yeah,
not really the
true.
most the serious victims in this case. So I'm just curious, how do you think about people who are younger than us, like they are after 2000s, and how is it like, they are
Yeah,
really addicted to it.
I do sympathize for them because it's almost like that's what their life is basically. When they are born, basically everyone already interacts in social media, and like either if it's iPad or like if it's phone, everyone is doing it like virtually, like online, and then to actually teach them to interact humans to humans, I think there's also like a lot of steps for them to learn. And like example, when I was young, like I'm very introverted. So I when I was younger I get anxiety like just to buy food from like the uncle from the
I
store.
think I think I am
Yeah,
also
yeah,
like
like
that.
yeah,
But
my dad pushes me like when we go to like the kopitiam, my dad will always like try to push me to, hey, please, like you want to order that, then you go order yourself. Then like for me, I have when I want to order, I always got this anxiety where like I will keep trying to rehearse on what I actually wanted to say. So like, oh, I want to buy a gali mee. Then I just go to the uncle and say like, I'll practice it in my head like a lot of times. Like, uncle, one gali mee.
Do you still have it now?
Say, now not really. Sometimes I do lah. If like I was thinking like what I actually want. If I still haven't decided what I want, I might like start to think about it a little bit. And then I think that yeah, like in this day and age where we just order things through our phone, through the delivery app, or like even restaurant now, they use like QR menu. So you need to scan the QR code on the table, and then you don't even need to talk to the waiter. So I think like
But
without this training, it's more and more difficult for them to actually interact physically with another human.
yeah, upset. Back to this questions. I know you're an introvert. You say that you don't like to talk physically as well. You don't like to talk on social media
Yeah,
as well. But do you think there is a difference between these two, like
I
human
think
interactions and social media?
I
For you,
think
for you.
I think it depends though because that's the whole idea that I want to discuss for this topic is that we are divided like everyone is in their different space, but yet somehow people in another way are united in like the virtual sense where there's a lot of these online communities floating around. We don't see them physically, but there's a lot of groups online that some are like even like over 10K or like a million group members at the same time. And then especially if you have experience with Discord, they have like all their different groups for like even for a YouTube channel. There's like a lot of different groups for like almost maybe like even like for different countries and different languages. And then within their different country, they have also have their own subgroup. So the community is built in those kind of way, but people meet people might not be in like the same area. Maybe the friends, maybe the community that you meet is scattered all around the world
Is it
online.
more globalized, lah? I would say.
Yeah, it's almost more globalized or like more spread out, but you don't get to meet each other physically, but just like what we are doing right now, we are still connected. We still haven't lost touch. So I think it's almost like a different kind of lens, like different kind of angle at looking at it.
I think it's really back to what is your intention. Like for me, I'm very clear that my intention of using social media, even on Instagram, although I'm swiping all these reels and stories, right? But for me, using Instagram, because I didn't use Instagram at first, when I when I was 20, I didn't use Instagram because I disliked the idea of social medias. And I started using social medias because I went to Taiwan and I said, okay,
Why do you dislike social media that much?
first of all, I don't like to let people know what I am doing. And I don't feel
So you're a
comfortable
very
of,
private person.
yeah, I don't feel comfortable of, yeah, first of all, not letting people know what I'm doing. It's not that I don't want to let people know what I'm doing, but it's I don't let people know purposely or deliberately that I'm
Uh
doing this, I'm doing that, and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the process of posting something on Instagram, right? It's like you are doing this deliberately,
It's almost like
sharing,
I just
like
want to show off like
yeah,
oh
掉低.
oh look at my new phone, look at oh this outfit, like
And
oh OTD.
as you know, like I enjoy really private conversations, like with you, with Kenny, with all my friends, right? And for me, I I don't really like the idea of group conversations. For me, like group doesn't have a conversations. For me, conversations is always one-to-one interactions. So me and you, me and someone else. So it's going to be like that. So and yeah, that's the reason I don't know, I was satisfied by the interaction that I had last time, and I didn't feel that there is a need to use social medias to maintain my relationship. But until I left Malaysia, then I think it's like, oh, it's good to actually have social media as well. I was convinced by one of my friends actually, because she liked to post lots of these little things here and there, and then I complain a lot. It's
Yeah,
like, I said,
sometimes
why do
I
you post it? Why do you post it? Why do you post it? Why do you post that? I complain a lot about it. And one day she said, you know what? Is that I want to maintain relationships with some of my friends and also keep them up
yeah,
to date. And at that point of time, I changed my mind. I said, okay, social
it's
media is a good tool
yeah,
as
it's
long as we
almost
use
like
it properly.
yeah, true. Yeah, I think maybe let's conclude this. I think yeah, I agree with like your idea on like maybe it's the intention because I believe that some people they just like sharing about what they are doing, yeah, what they are experiencing. They just want people to know that hey, this is my experience on this, and they just want to share for everyone to know. And then there's also like a set of a group of people they just like the attention. They just do it for the attention, which is sadly the case on like the internet where there's a lot of people doing a lot of bad things just for the intention. But I still appreciate those who are just genuinely like sharing things, and I think that that's also a good thing about the internet. A lot of good things come out from there as well. And I believe that yeah, it's I think it's just a
And
different lens of looking at the same thing.
anyway, now I'm just using like my Instagram to sort of keep as a portfolio of my singing career, because I really hated the idea of recording something. So
Yeah,
last time when I was performing, right, I stopped everyone from recording, like my audience. I would just stop and I say, would you mind to stop that your phone, something like that. I would just stop them from recording. But after about like for a long time, right, and I realized that it's hard for me to compile my performing experience because I
yeah,
didn't record it. So now I'm doing it for business purpose.
yeah. I think at the same time, right, like LinkedIn, I a lot of times, like especially for LinkedIn, a lot of people get very active on LinkedIn because like the career
I
that they want
really
to
hate
push,
I really
and
hate
then
LinkedIn, I hate LinkedIn.
yeah,
I'm going to say it again. You know what? I realize people tend to be very positive minded in LinkedIn. Today I take part in this, today I
the
take part in that.
yeah
It's
toxic
it's really
positivity.
it's really annoying, and it's happening very often in LinkedIn. Thank you for letting me
But
joining this stupid things.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I think it's somehow it's also important where if you want to promote your career, it's almost something that you do to get people to notice you. It's
No,
basically
because
marketing, you know.
if I'm the boss, right, I would hire someone who actually express a right amount of positivity and at the same time a right amount of negativity and what they learn from
No,
negativity.
but I think that's the thing. Like people sometimes get confused when they see these kind of things because they just think, oh, you did this, you did that, but they a lot of employers they don't look more in depth to like, oh, what do you join this for and what is your contribution. Usually those kind of questions doesn't pop up on their mind in the first hand. And like
Yeah,
example for like it's basically marketing lah. Like you are just promoting, telling like everyone, hey, I'm here, like I exist. So like in LinkedIn people will like hire you or like uh have more notice or like have more eyes on you. So
hey,
you might easier for you to promote your job or like to get attention from other companies.
will you call LinkedIn a social media platform, or is more, it's not really a social media platform, right? I don't know whether they
For
would
work,
put the link as for
for,
work
they are
LinkedIn
considered
and work
social
social.
media, but I think in a sense of corporate and work, yeah, it's more like
Mm.
it's almost like marketing, social marketing in a sense.
Honestly, I like people who post professional informations. That there's,
True,
you know,
true,
rather than saying that what kind of events they take parts, it doesn't really matter to me because you don't really give me any important information about my
true.
career development. So, but I really appreciate people who post useful information on LinkedIn, and I've read quite a few good articles on LinkedIn, honestly. So I think in that case, as I think we should go back to, it's really about the intentions, and people who use social medias, right? They need to have they need to have a little bit of brain, to actually no, to give some sort of like positive impacts on society rather than just telling people about yourself. Some people, they are just very self-centered. The post that they share. It's like about
Yeah,
themselves all the time. It's not really about the things that they've learned and the things that they can share. Yeah. I every time I read all these posts, right, all this toxic positivity. Did you use the word toxic positivity?
yeah,
When
yeah,
I
yeah,
feel
yeah.
I've got goosebumps. It's like yeah, gali.
Yeah, like why are you like trying so hard just to do this kind of thing, right?
Yeah, just,
Yeah.
I think
Anyway, yeah, tell us about like what do you guys think about social media and like do you cherish more like online interaction or like do you gain more positivity on like physical interaction with your friends? Let us know.
and also let us know whether you think the social media is making us more united or divided. Okay, thank you very much. This
Thank
is
you very much.
to Botak,
Botak.
and we'll see you next episode.
Okay, bye.
Bye.